Hi, Remarkable Lifers. How are you? It's been a rough few days. We just wanted to give you an update on what's been going on. We've had basically a record scratch moment, is what I call it. Just threw everything into an uproar, but some things are more important. And so we were driving on our way to Mexico, and part of our plan was to stop in Memphis and see some family members, or outside of Memphis, and then in Texas to see family, and then go on down to meet our ride. And KJ and I were in Memphis visiting his uncle, and we got that phone call that nobody wants, unfortunately. We found out that my dad had been in a fall and had tripped and gone headfirst into a post and had broken his neck. Yeah, that. And I'm getting emotional, not so much because of my dad. I'm sitting here right now just thinking back on, oh my gosh, it was insanity. So we're in Memphis. My brother is in Houston visiting friends. And my niece and nephew jumped into, they're in their 30s, 30 something. They jumped into action and went and ran by Grandma and Grandpa's side and made sure they got where they needed to go. My dad was airlifted to a city hospital from their small town, and we got Grandma over there, and nobody knew what the condition was for quite a while. And we had to make the difficult decision for KJ to go on and go down to Texas, because we didn't know if I was even going to be able to join. He might have had to go on this trip by himself, and then I follow.
And simultaneously, at the same time, my mom had surgery that day, and it was supposed to just be a kind of a routine thing.
Kind of a procedure.
Yeah, it was kind of a routine thing. And in the course of it, they nicked an artery. And when they nicked the artery, they could not get the bleeding under control, and so she had to go down to the hospital side, and they had to basically they had to compress her leg to get the arterial bleeding to stop and everything. And so I'm on my way down to Texas, pulling our U-Haul with the dog by myself, coming down to my brother's here. And so, and while my mom is in the hospital.
Yeah. So I get that phone call from him, and we are like, oh my gosh. So I had to rent a car and drive 5 hours back to St. Louis and jump into action, which, take over for my niece and nephew, which were absolutely exhausted. They'd been, on guard with Grandma for 48 hours almost at that point. And we were able to get them out of there, and I was able to take over, and we got my mom, a hotel room, and I just stayed with her. And we were able to get back and forth to the doctor. Now, on condition update on my dad, he did have a couple of compression fractures in his neck. A couple of vertebrae were messed up, but it is not...
No neurological damage.
No neurological damage, no paralyzation, no... surgery required, thank goodness. But he was in and out of consciousness for being medicated and pain. He's in a full neck brace and will have to be in it for about 6 weeks. So he is elderly and in his 80s, and so this is going to be a big recovery for him. We've been able to get him into nursing care, and everything was looking up, and he's moving around and stuff now. So very positive as far as what it could have been.
And on my mom's front, they were able to do the arterial repair surgery yesterday, and they kept her overnight. Everything looks good, and so we're hopeful that she'll get released this morning.
Yeah, and then in the process of all of this, while my brother and sister-in-law were trying to head back to get here to take over for me, they found out that my sister-in-law's stepfather died, just passed away. And so my whole family, and then this morning I find out that Loretta Lynn died. which is also catastrophic.
So
So this has not been a good weekend.
So we ended up pushing back our departure date. Thank goodness to the transport person who is doing that we're doing this with. She actually suggested pushing back one day.
I was able to jump on a plane and fly back. We talked about it with my family, and they're like, "We've got it under control. We've got Dad going to care. Family is refreshed again and can start taking over." So they're like, "No, you go ahead." So basically, oops. So we're back. Sorry about that. We are in Texas. I was able to fly back last night, get a last minute flight, fly back just in time to join the trip to the border crossing. So my family's all on board with it. They understand, and we're hoping that I can get down there and get our Kane process, which is the changeover to your permanent ID card for our temporary residency. And that way then I'm free. I can come back if I need to. So long story short, we're in Texas, and the phone heated up because we're outside. So that's why it shut off. But KJ has been amazing to get everything kind of lined up before, and we were able just to step back into the process, and we're back, and we're going to be showing you that, and we'll give you updates on how Dad's doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't already,
go find your truly remarkable life.
We are. Stay tuned. More later.